Have you ever wondered just how far Mario can be pushed before the game stops feeling whimsical and starts feeling downright cruel? Although the Super Mario franchise is well known for its bright colors, charming worlds, and family-friendly appeal, beneath that cheerful exterior lies an underbelly of extraordinarily punishing stages. These levels are so brutal that they've caused countless controllers to be thrown, friendships to be tested, and online rumors to run wild. Today, we're diving into the most frustrating, intense, and flat-out shocking Mario levels that have left players questioning whether Nintendo actually wanted us to succeed or secretly hoped we'd give up in a fury. Some fans claim these seemingly impossible challenges were deliberate, added for the diehard enthusiasts who crave near-impossible feats of skill. Others suspect they might have slipped through development in a whirlwind, with certain mechanics left unrefined just to keep everyone on their toes. Whichever the reason, these stages are the stuff of legend, discussed on forums, replayed endlessly on live streams, and debated by those who believe each one defines what true difficulty really means. And behind each infamous course, there's always a rumor, a speculation, or some hush-hush developer story that only adds to the mystery. But while some fans thrive on the agony, others are left with war stories of nightmarish wind gusts, glitchy physics, or towering walls of fire that stand between them and the final goal. You might be surprised to discover how many secrets these levels hide, tiny breadcrumbs left by Nintendo that show a design philosophy flirting with the extreme. After all, it's one thing to hand players a steady climb, it's another thing to force them to leap through narrow passages with a single pixel of safety. So if you've ever found yourself yelling at your screen, wondering why Mario keeps sliding off an icy ledge, or if that lock-to overhead was specifically programmed to torture you, rest assured, you're in good company. These aren't casual run-throughs. These stages demand absolute precision, nerves of steel, and the willingness to retry dozens, if not hundreds of times. And for some, that challenge is exactly why they keep coming back. Without further ado, let's explore 10 of the toughest, most controversial Mario levels Nintendo has ever crafted. We'll talk about the rumors, the fan theories, and the raw frustration that have turned these stages into legends of their own. Brace yourself. You might just find that some of these levels have changed the way you look at Mario forever. Welcome to Gamer Service Announcement. GSA. The more you know. Click that subscribe button and hit on the alert button to get notified about new videos for you. 1. The Lost Levels. World C3, Nintendo's first real experiment in pushing fans to the brink, can be traced all the way back to Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. This Japan-only sequel to the original Super Mario Bros. Was famously deemed too hard for Western gamers, who instead received a totally different Super Mario Bros. 2. In many ways, the Lost Levels felt more like a maddening expansion pack than a mainstream sequel. Hidden within this punishing maze of levels is World C3, a stage whispered about in hushed tones by veteran fans who've actually managed to see it. Why is it so horrifying? Rumors suggest the developers ramped up difficulty simply to troll expert players. You'll face near-constant wind gusts that blow Mario around unpredictably, and these gusts seem to come and go on a whim. It's never clear if you're supposed to take a leap of faith or wait out the breeze, and that confusion only adds to the tension. Meanwhile, a persistent Lakitu hovers overhead, chucking spinies down at you. Typically, you could time your jumps to dodge his attacks, but in C3, the wind ensures your attempts at a steady landing can be tossed off by a single gust, dropping you into a pit below. There are rumors that even some of the designers at Nintendo found these late-game Lost levels more sadistic than fun, sparking debate about whether to dial back the punishment. But the final product remained as is, unchanged, inaccessible to most newcomers, and tucked away behind the requirement of beating the entire game multiple times. For those determined enough to unlock World C3, it's a punishing showdown with raw, unpredictable obstacles. Some fans actually believe that it's intentionally unfair, surmising that the devs wanted to reward only the most obsessive completionist with a borderline unplayable challenge. Whether that's true or not, World C3 set the tone for what Mario's hardest levels can be, an unyielding gauntlet that tests your patience, reflexes, and sanity. 2. New Super Mario Bros. Wii, World 9-7. Jump ahead a couple of decades and you'll find New Super Mario Bros. Wii, a title that's mostly remembered for its fun co-op chaos rather than its difficulty. Yet hidden in the post-game content is World 9-7, a stage that flips that reputation upside down. On the surface, you see a bright, icy world. No big deal, right? Well, the twist is that there are fire piranha plants everywhere, constantly spitting flames that melt the ice you're standing on. In other words, the very ground you're traversing can vanish at any moment, leaving you scrambling for safe footing. The design here practically forces you to keep moving. Stand still for more than a second, and the piranha's fireballs will eat away your platform. If that wasn't enough pressure, there are also those pesky brown block-like spikes concealing Goombas and even Fire Brothers who create chain reactions of melted ice. Some hardcore fans argue that 9-7 served as a secret speedrun test, primarily because you have to dash through it or risk losing your path altogether. More casual players, on the other hand, have called it downright punishing, especially when going for those star coins stashed in areas that require precise timing and careful planning. Though 9-7 isn't terribly long, the pressure it exerts from the start to the finish is unmistakable. Rumors circulated that some testers at Nintendo had actually recommended moving 9-7 to an earlier spot, believing it was too tricky for most players. But in the final release, it stands as a hidden gem of difficulty, a stage that demands both speed and finesse. Fans who conquer it often wear it as a badge of honor, but plenty of others have declared it the moment they realized Mario could be more daunting than they ever expected. 3. New Super Luigi U World 9-6 Firebar Sprint. Picture the layout of New Super Mario Bros. U, then shrink each level's timer and platform space until you have New Super Luigi U, a version that's more compact, more frantic, and often significantly harder. Out of all the secret stages in Luigi's Quest, World 9-6, aptly nicknamed Firebar Sprint, is infamous for its overwhelming clusters of spinning firebars. These obstacles aren't just a matter of jumping at the right moment. They're scaled up to an absurd size, so you have very little wiggle room to slip past them. What's worse, the level is short, very short, yet it manages to claim countless lives thanks to the requirement that you move almost perfectly from the moment you start running. Players discovered through trial and error that the only reliable approach is to time a sprint so precisely that each firebar rotates out of your path the instant you pass by. If your timing is off, even by a fraction of a second, you get toasted. And that's not even mentioning the deviously placed star coin near the end, lurking behind bricks that require you to still have a power-up so you can break them. If you lost your power early, which most people do, it's an exercise in frustration just to figure out how to nab that final collectible. Fans often joke that you can measure your skill in Luigi U by how fast you can beat 9-6. Some speedrunners find it exhilarating, but casual players sometimes refer to it as the wall that made them give up on the game. There's a rumor that even the people who designed it didn't anticipate how strict the timing would feel when you're actually playing, rather than just drawing the level in a design tool. Regardless of how it came to be, Firebar Sprint remains a searing memory for everyone who's tried to survive its blazing traps. 4. Super Mario World Tubular. In a franchise known for iconic levels and imaginative design, Super Mario World took things to new heights, literally. Hidden in the special zone is a stage called Tubular, which tasks you with crossing a wide gulf of nothingness by turning Mario into a floating balloon. On paper, it sounds whimsical. Float from one side to the other, grabbing the P-balloon power-ups from question blocks to stay airborne. In practice, Tubular quickly becomes an airborne nightmare. The challenge stems from the fact that you have to time your power-up replenishes perfectly, all while dealing with relentless enemies that can knock you out of the sky. There's no solid platform waiting to catch you if you get hit. One little slip-up, and you're done. Some longtime fans love the creativity in Tubular's design, while others see it as borderline trollish, especially when the charging Chuck tosses baseballs at you from awkward angles. Rumor has it that a few developers teased this stage internally, wondering if it was too mean for younger players. Yet it stayed in, presumably to show that Super Mario World could cater to experts craving a real test. To this day, Tubular remains a rite of passage. If you manage to float through without losing a life, you've got the level memorized, or you've developed near telepathic reflexes. Countless players admit to discovering secret capes or other workarounds just to bypass the balloon fiasco. Still, completing Tubular in the intended way has become a point of pride, an old-school testament to Mario mastery. 5. Super Mario Sunshine, the pachinko machine. From the beloved 2D aesthetic of Super Mario World, let's leap to the palm tree-lined paradise of Super Mario Sunshine. At first glance, it's all about tropical vibes and water-powered platforming. But lurking within this sunny setting is a bizarre stage that's caused near-universal frustration, the pachinko machine. It's accessible through a secret area in Rico Harbor, and it feels more like a glitch-riddled experiment than a fully fleshed-out level. What's the big deal? the physics, or more accurately, the total lack of consistency in those physics. Once Mario enters the pachinko arena, he's launched upward as if he's just a pinball, and the collisions frequently force him toward the center, even if you're aiming for the side. Enemies aren't the main hazard here. The real danger is the game's unpredictable momentum. A slight push of the joystick can yield a huge, unexpected jolt, sometimes sending Mario plummeting. And every time you fall, you're booted to the abyss below, forced to start again. Fans have speculated that the pachinko machine was either rushed in development or grafted into the game from an abandoned concept. Some even believe leftover code from earlier prototypes messed up the physics. Whatever the cause, the result is one of the most infamous 3D Mario stages ever. It's not particularly long, nor is it conceptually complex. Collect 8 red coins, get the shine. But the broken mechanics amplify the difficulty beyond reason. To this day, many players struggle to finish the pachinko machine without feeling like they've been robbed by random chance. And in a weird way, that has become part of its legacy. A stage so memorably flawed that it's kept Sunshine relevant in hardest Mario level debates for years. 6. Super Mario Odyssey, Darker Side. Now let's fast forward to Mario's globe-trotting adventure in Super Mario Odyssey. While the main journey is generally considered one of the easier Mario experiences, the real challenge slams into players at the endgame, culminating in Darker Side. This massive, sprawling gauntlet is designed to test every move you've learned throughout the game. You'll platform across lava, zip through water, climb walls as a stretchy onion, and even balance your way on conveyor belts as Yoshi. In theory, it's the ultimate exam, piecing together everything the game taught you along the way. What makes Darker Side stand out is its length and variety. You start in a lava-filled area, maneuvering from pole to pole, then quickly shift into controlling different creatures that each require their own mastery. 1 minute, you're leaping across floating platforms. The next, you're capturing a flying creature to navigate between swirling whirlpools. The tension just keeps piling on as you progress through new zones. And if you do slip up toward the end, you're back to the very beginning with no checkpoint to save you. Despite the difficulty, Odyssey gives players some leeway. You can heal using hearts scattered across the level, and there's a sneaky method where you shake the controller while flying as Glidden to skip entire sections. Because of these shortcuts, some fans argue that Darker Side isn't as brutal as older Mario challenges. Still, the stage's official design remains relentless. An all-in-one exam that can run a solid 10 minutes if you're playing it legit. Rumors also suggest that some parts of Darker Side were nearly cut for being too demanding. But the final version stands as one of Mario's most spectacular victory laps or devastating heartbreaks, depending on how you fare. 7. Super Mario 3D World Champions Road. Continuing the tradition of saving the toughest level for last, Super Mario 3D World offers up Champions Road in the post-game. If the main game felt like a delightful co-op romp, this stage tears down that friendly facade. Here, there are no power-ups given, bottomless pits, wave after wave of enemies, and so many obstacles that you'll wonder if there's an end in sight. You'll zip across boost panels, dodge Fire Brothers, leap over Magikoopa blasts, and watch platforms vanish beneath your feet. What really amps up the stress is how long Champions Road is. It's separated into sections, each featuring distinct hurdles, from synchronized beat blocks that shift to a strict rhythm, to narrow paths packed with swirling hazards. If you die at any point, you start all over. Skilled players sometimes stock up on Tanuki leaves in earlier levels to make the final platforming more manageable, a strategy that has fueled debate. Is it cheating to come in powered up, or just practical? Some fans consider beating Champions Road with no items the ultimate bragging right, a testament to pure skill. Interestingly, there's a rumor that portions of Champions Road were originally intended to be even harder. Apparently, some testers argued that the final stretch was just too punishing for a family-friendly platformer. What we ended up with is still shockingly difficult, but it highlights the modern Mario formula. Create a game that nearly anyone can enjoy, but hide a menacing final challenge that only the most dedicated will see. For many, that's the perfect balance. For others, it's an invitation to keep replaying until they conquer every last step. 8. Super Mario 3D Land Special 8 Crown. Before 3D World introduced Champions Road, there was a portable predecessor that gave players a taste of that last stage from the depths of gaming hell vibe. In Super Mario 3D Land, after completing the main worlds and then the special worlds, you unlock Special 8 Crown. This is a condensed lesson in just how punishing 3D platforming can be on the Nintendo 3DS. The 8-directional movement feels a bit rigid, and the depth perception isn't always ideal, so your margin for error is razor thin. 8 Crown dials up the challenge at every turn. You'll run through tiny platforms flanked by lava or bottomless pits, face off against Boom Boom and Pom Pom simultaneously, and navigate sequences of spinning firebars that leave little space to maneuver. Part of the stage's reputation comes from how suddenly it escalates. You might be cruising through earlier levels feeling confident, but when you hit 8 Crown, every small misstep costs you a life. The final area features clone Marios chasing you, bombs falling from the sky, and shifting platforms all at once, creating pure chaos. Speculations abound that 8 Crown was intended to mirror the tradition of games like The Lost Levels, giving hardcore fans a true final challenge. But many newcomers to 3D Land got a rude awakening, discovering that even with a Tanuki tail, surviving to the end can be a real nightmare. Some players have even labeled it harder than Champions Road, though that's certainly up for debate. Either way, 8 Crown cemented itself as a hallmark of punishing portable Mario design, setting the bar for handheld heartbreak. 9. Super Mario Galaxy 2, The Perfect Run. Before 3D Land or 3D World made their mark, Super Mario Galaxy 2 introduced a final level that would become legendary for its refusal to let players take a single hit. The Perfect Run. Unlike some other marathons, there are no hearts or checkpoints to keep you safe from mistakes. If you so much as brush against an enemy, trip into a laser, or misjudge a jump, you're done. Back to square one. The Perfect Run is structured as a remix of previous challenges, strung together in a way that demands absolute mastery. You'll start with a Yoshi segment that tests your tongue grab timing, then move on to sections with flipping platforms, rotating blocks, and electric barriers that close in from all angles. Cloud Mario appears for a short while, offering temporary safety if you can conserve your cloud power, but it's easy to slip up if you're nervous, and rest assured, nerves will be high. Knowing you have zero room for error adds a psychological pressure that makes even simple jumps feel life or death. Rumors once circulated that some developers wanted to include at least a couple of checkpoints. Others proposed a hidden one-up or an extra heart somewhere. In the end, the stage remained as is, a completely unforgiving finale. The real kicker is the final assault of Hammer Brothers on precarious tilting platforms. Surviving their onslaught to finally nab that last star is exhilarating. It's as if Galaxy 2 bows out by saying, "Oh, you thought collecting all those other stars was tough. Let's see how you handle this." For many fans, beating the Perfect Run stands as their crowning Mario achievement, a moment that proves they can stay calm under unrelenting pressure. Jishunted new Super Mario Bros. Dwa, the Impossible Pack DLC. We've seen official endgame gauntlets, glitchy fiascos, and monstrous design decisions lurking in bonus worlds. But then there's a set of DLC levels from New Super Mario Bros., 2 known as the Impossible Pack. Despite being marketed as an expert challenge, many players felt Nintendo had crossed the line into near-sadistic territory. The pack consists of 3 meticulously designed stages that require pixel-perfect jumps, lightning-fast reflexes, and unshakable patience. What sets the Impossible Pack apart is its refusal to give you any breathing room or any power-ups. You start as small Mario with no mushrooms or items provided. If you want an advantage, you have to bring a raccoon leaf or fire flower from a previous stage, but as soon as you die, you're back to being little. Enemies are positioned in ways that feel intentionally vicious. Lacodus hovering at just the wrong height, fish that seem magnetically attracted to your path, Hammer Brothers chucking projectiles in narrow corridors. One mistake and it's back to the start. The fact that it's paid DLC even sparked controversy, with some fans calling it a money grab designed for the ultra-hardcore. But for a dedicated minority, the Impossible Pack is a masterpiece of refined difficulty, a puzzle that demands consistent practice, memorization, and nerves of steel. The pack's almost mythical status comes from tales of players spending days, even weeks, trying to beat all 3 stages in one run. Some claim they've done it without power-ups at all, though skeptics wonder if that's just a tall tale spread by gaming masochists. Regardless, the consensus is that the Impossible Pack stands as one of Nintendo's wildest forays into extreme design, leaving an indelible mark on Mario's most notorious challenges. Whether it's the windblown torment of Lost Levels World C3 or the sprawling, nightmarish obstacle course of the Impossible Pack, these stages prove that Mario games aren't just about cheery tunes and casual fun. Each of these levels has pushed boundaries, sparking rumors of developer in-jokes or last-minute design changes, and leaving players alternately enthralled or infuriated. It's a testament to how far Nintendo is willing to go in providing something for everyone. From the child who just wants to leap around to the hardened veteran, chasing that legendary completion. So, which level made you want to throw your controller out the window? Was it the glitchy madness of the pachinko machine or the relentless single-hit demand of the perfect run? Perhaps you're one of the select few who actually conquered the impossible pack without any power-ups. If so, wear that accomplishment like a badge. Wherever you stand, these challenges have become part of Mario lore, fueling countless debates about the fine line between entertaining difficulty and outright unfairness. At the end of the day, maybe it's the push and pull between joy and frustration that keeps us coming back for more. Mario games invite us into colorful worlds full of secrets, yet every once in a while they remind us that skill and determination can still be tested to their extremes. Whether you relish the challenge or quietly seethe when you fail that final jump, these infamous stages have left a mark on the community, proof that even the world's most recognizable plumber sometimes refuses to play nice. And who knows, the next Mario installment might just bring an even more daunting test of platforming prowess, waiting to see if we'll rise to the occasion or succumb to the madness. If you like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that alert button for more awesome videos. Gamer service announcement: the more you know.